it's been a while. When I was grade school age and high school age, my folks had a piece of property that had beachfront on a creek. My mother would always say the beach, and it didn't look like a beach to me. But this creek, because it was dammed down below, it was a very large creek or a very small river, whichever way you want to look at it. And we were there all of our spare time from school. We were either in the river swimming, we were on it boating. Wintertime we were skating, we were skiing down the slopes, and there were little tributary streams that used to freeze. This was upstate New York. They used to freeze in the wintertime, and it was like a frozen water park. We'd slide down the streams. So you'll get at the end why I'm going this way. This stream used to go by a drive-in theater a little ways down from us. And we'd sneak in. It was wide open. You know, we'd get a blanket. And on our way back from the food stand, we'd pass cars, and we'd know if they were there for the movie or if they were there for the passion part of the drive-in, because they wouldn't have their speaker on the window, and the windows would be fogged up. And so we're waiting for it to get dark enough for the projector to project the film on the large screen. Okay, part 2. Did you ever see a full moon reflected off the ocean? I went down to Miami one time for a job interview, successful, and I had a room. Oh, thank you. I had a room that overlooked the ocean, and it was full moon that night, and I understood right then and there the song "Moon Over Miami." It was gorgeous. Did you ever see the movie Joe versus the Volcano? With Tom, I want to say Cruise, it's not Cruise. Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. They're out on the ocean, they're in a storm, their yacht sinks, and the only thing they have is a bunch of steamer trunks, waterproof steamer trunks from Abercrombie and Fitch, I think. And they lash them together, and they're out there floating on this raft. And there's one scene in that movie, a nighttime scene, where the moon, full moon, seems to fill half of the sky. It's such a beautiful scene if you've ever seen. One of my favorite movies, as a matter of fact. Okay, so you see why I'm partial to water, and I'm partial actually to streams more than the ocean, because I grew up on a creek, river, whatever. So you see, later in life, when we lived at the Hudson River, we had land right up to the Hudson River, but not down to the shore, because the Hudson River is very famous for its palisades, which are like cliffs, and our land was on a cliff down below. Actually, on the shore there was a railroad running by. We happened to live right across the river from West Point, and I'd go out, walk along the river, admire, it's just beautiful, and admire the majestic buildings across the way. And one of the buildings was the Thayer Hotel. People would go there to the hotel and stay there if they were visiting West Point for any reason. Okay, this was the time of night I was walking out there when, if you were at a drive-in, it would be getting dark enough for a projector to project an image on the screen. The river was like a mirror that night. It was so smooth. As a matter of fact, it was a mirror. And I didn't know what I was seeing, because I had never seen it before, and I have never seen it since. But there were two figures projected hugely on the river. The river is very wide at that point. And after thinking about it, I said, somebody in the hotel, evidently, very plainly, a man and a woman, walked in front of a bulb, and they were projected through the window onto the river. And I could just hear them saying, "Finally, we're alone." But how many people who were on the Palisades that night, maybe admiring the river, were enjoying the show?